What's up, everyone? It is your girl Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we're going to get into 5 alternatives to limited edition palettes. Now, I actually have a bonus that I have 6 things as opposed to 5 things, and some of the things I'm not sure about the limited edition status on them, so just keep that in mind. But I figured we'd start off with the face palette because I actually have a face palette for once instead of just all eye things, which is why I was inspired to make these videos, honestly, because everybody dupes eye products. But this face palette looks similar enough to this other face palette, and this brand is in the process of rebranding, so they don't have this face palette anymore. So if you know what I'm talking about the Mented Cosmetics Dusk to Dawn collection. This is the Dust palette. This is the one that the creator Dionluvsmakeup, aka Darius, you've heard me talk about on my channel, who I love dearly. He came out with this face palette, and I think he came out with 3 other ones. There was a deeper one than mine, and then there were 2 lighter ones. So I have this Beauty Bay palette here. I think this is part of their permanent line. They just came out with it recently. This is the Bronze Blush Glow face palette. So show you what they both look like on the inside. Now keep in mind, if you're familiar with my channel, then you know that Midas sent me one with 2 contours, a bronzer and a blush, instead of me getting the highlighter I was supposed to. And as soon as I DM'd the brand and told them about it, then they asked me to send it back. They simply just sent me another palette with the proper highlighter in it, which I was totally fine with either way. I actually gave it away to one of you all, my subscribers, if you remember. He talks about that, but anyway, here's what both of them look like on the inside. As you can see, the blush looks somewhat similar. There's the contour, because this says it's a bronzer, but it is definitely a contour shade. I have it on my face right now, and it's giving contour, not bronzer. And then it has one blush that's similar to it, and then there's a highlighter. His highlighter was the same color as the highlighter in this palette. It's just, like I said, I gave away the one with the highlighter in it, so I don't have it, but this is what both of them look like side by side, and I would definitely say it's a comparison. Now, if you like more of a contour, you'll like this palette just fine. If you were expecting the bronzer to be a bronzer, it is not. It is definitely giving contour. So that's something to keep in mind when looking to this palette to replace your palette from Darius. Also, the blush shade in here doesn't match perfectly. This one gives more of a plumage type tone, where I feel like Darius gives a little brighter berryish type tone, like a bright berryish, cherryish, raspberry type shade. And this one gives more of a true, like, deep plumish berry type shade. So just bear that in mind when it comes to those 2 things. But otherwise, I'd say it's a do. I wasn't impressed with the face palette though, so if you want my take on it, you can watch the video on this eye look I have on right now, which is the Dark Fantasy palette from the Beauty Bay Holiday Collection. Next, I have some single eyeshadows. So I have the Charlotte Tilbury Hypnotize and Pop Shot in the shade Cosmic Rock. Y'all should know which one it is. It's the blue one, of course. And then I have the Block Party Tell Me More from Dose of Colors. Now, I'm not sure if the Dose of Colors ones are still sold, but I know they're going to be cheaper than Charlotte Tilbury, of course, because, you know, it's Charlotte Tilbury. Her little packaging is cute or whatever, but it's like I'm concerned about the product on the inside. And they both do the same thing, which is shift. Now, please keep in mind that the Charlotte Tilbury one has, well, I'll show you when it comes to the finishes. I feel like hers shifts more with the finish, and it's more of that, like, wet, glossy looking, like, metallic look on the lid, whereas I feel like the Dose of Color ones has more of that dark base into it, which gives it more of a subtle reflect, whereas, as you can see, Charlotte's is quite light. But I feel like her eyeshadow in general usually has a lighter effect to it, so I figured, you know, it would be a good alternative to it. If you like more deeper black based eyeshadow, then I feel like you would like the Dose of Colors better. Plus, I figure you like the Dose of Colors price point better, because at the end of the day, it's 20 bucks and the Charlotte Tilbury one is 34. I ended up buying mine during the 15% off sale at Saks for the friends and family. That's the only reason I got it, because like for $34 I wouldn't have been buying it. It was closer to the price of the Dose of Colors. I think it was like 24, 28, and that's why I went along with it. But otherwise, I wouldn't have bought that because it's just outrageous. So I have a couple of palettes as for an alternative. So I have the, what is this, Glowing Iris from the newest Kaleidos collection, and I have these 2 palettes that were limited edition. So this is the Chilling palette from the Unearthly what's the mystery box that she recently sent out. So this is what it looks like on the inside, and if you've seen Glowing Iris, then you know it's really similar to Glowing Iris. It's not exact, it's similar, because as you can see, this one has a more sparkly metallic shade, and this has more of a light, I feel like berryish purple shade to it. So if this had like the lighter matte shade that's down here, then they would be similar. But since this is limited edition, and if you didn't get this box, you can't get it, I'm trying to give you alternatives to it, because when you watch my video of doing a look with this, then you'll see what I'm talking about. But here's what both of them look like side by side. I actually didn't use the green quad in that video. Spoiler alert. If you saw my unboxing, then you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I really didn't. So the other one I have is Violet Ink. If you all remember, they got rid of the Violet Ink. Mented Cosmetics did, because they brought the indigo ink, so they didn't need both. So they got rid of this one, and I feel like this is a good alternative for it. Again, they're not exact. Just keep that in mind, because obviously there's these two deeper shades that you put on the outer V, whereas you only get one deeper shade in here. But I feel like they did a good job with this quad, considering you only got 4 shades. So here's what they look like side by side. So if you didn't get indigo ink, you can buy those singles individually if you just really want that palette. But I was trying to show you a palette alternative if you're a person who's not really big on singles. Like, I'm not big on singles. I have singles, as you saw. I just showed one in this video, but I'm not crazy about singles or go crazy over singles. So with that being said, I figured, you know, you might want an alternative to not having to buy all the singles and then try to make the palette yourself, because sometimes that can get expensive, whereas you can just buy that quad for however much it is. I think it's like $22 and going with your day. So that's why I like it. Okay, so we got 2 more palettes to get into now, and then we should be done with our 5 alternatives. So technically it's 6 because I put in the eye quads, but I felt like, you know, for $34 when I can give you an alternative for 20 that I should. So next alternative limited edition palette. I feel like I know the Hocus Pocus is limited edition. I'm not sure about the status of Witching Hour, but I feel like Witching Hour is on sale on her website recently. Don't quote me, I'm not 100% sure. That's why I was like trying to decide if I should put this one in there or not. But I'm like, since I have both of them, worst come worst, if it's not, I still gave you 5 alternatives technically, because, you know, this would just be the bonus thing. So here's what both of them look like on the inside. As you can see, the color stories are somewhat similar. ColourPop always throws in some neutrals though, for I guess the people who still want to use their palettes for everyday wear, whereas I feel like Unearthly Cosmetics is just like, hey, it's colorful, it's fun, you either with it or you not, and you know, I'm with it, which is why I own a lot of their stuff. But you know, for the people who aren't, the ColourPop would be a good alternative for you, and for the people who like me who just want the fun bright color, I feel like the Witching Hour would be perfect for you. And since Witching Hour is I feel like it's permanent or it's semi-permanent, or she's just going off demand, I'm assuming, I don't know. But I feel like with that being said, it'd be better to get this one. Plus, spoiler alert, if you saw my video, then you know I wasn't a fan of the quality of this palette. I didn't think it was as good as their original Hocus Pocus 1 palette, so I'm not going to do that. But if y'all want to see a battle of the between these two, let me know down below, and I will do so. The last one I have to talk about is the one that's actually on my eyes right now. So this is the Dark Fantasy palette up against the Michaela palette. Now, both of these are limited edition, but I feel like the Michaela one's going to be around longer than the Dark Fantasy is. Beauty Bay loves to bring out these amazing quality, great color stories, and then 3 months later just snatch it up and then you can't ever see it again, like Book of Magic. So I wanted to give you all an alternative, and since you can get the Michaela palette at CVS, and you can use a 40% off coupon and get it for next to nothing. And if you have the Care Pass, wait till your Care Pass comes up, you use your 40% off coupon, and this palette be like 20 bucks, and it's like a $42 palette. So yeah, definitely go ahead and get the deal. But this is what they look like side by side. As you can see, they have quite a similar color story. I feel like there's a little bit of neutral in here, whereas I feel like Michaela didn't do a lot of neutral in here the way she did in the first palette. But I guess if she felt like if you had the first palette, you're a true fan, you can use the neutrals from her first palette and just keep with the blue, green, and purple aesthetic of the second one. But this is what both of them look like side by side. And I figured the Beauty Bay one would be a good alternative if you don't want to pay $42 for Michaela's. You only get 10 more shades in Michaela's than you do in this one, because there's 30 shades in this one, and there's 20 shades in this one, and you pay 20 bucks for this one, and you pay like 42 for this one. But in all fairness, if you're a Michaela fan and you can just go to CVS and pick it up, you all know that Beauty Bay is sold in Beauty Bay, of course, so you're not going to be able to, you know, get it as quickly as you would probably like to, because you have to wait for it to come from another country. So that could be a good reason to go ahead and buy the one from Michaela, because it has convenience. It's made in America if you're here in America. If you're not, Beauty Bay might be a better alternative for you. Or if you just don't mind waiting because you don't have to make videos, that'll be fine for you as well. But I'm just trying to give alternatives like I always do. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. Let me know down below if you own any of these palettes and what you thought of my comparisons. My only thing is, like I said, the status of some of them I'm not 100% sure, and that's why it was like kind of eerie of doing this one. But I was like, while it's still available, if you catch the video when you catch it, then it's a good alternative for you. So hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.